Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Joe Biden has condemned a wave of Russian missile strikes that killed at least 38 people in Ukraine as a horrific reminder of Russia's brutality as he vowed to strengthen Kyiv's air defenses. At least 190 people were injured across the country, including some at a children's hospital in the capital, Kyiv. The US president said further boosts to Ukraine's air defenses would be announced. It comes as leaders from the 32 NATO member states, their partner countries and the EU are gathering to mark the 75th anniversary of NATO. The summit will focus on defense and deterrence in the context of the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
You're going to see some announcements on air defense. You're going to see some announcements on deterrence capabilities, not just with respect to helping Ukraine, but boosting the alliance. You're going to see some announcements with respect to the defense industrial base. And you're going to see, as I alluded to, some discussion about Ukraine's path to NATO and what that can look like, and a reaffirmation of what the president has long said, that NATO is in Ukraine's future.
Palestinians in Gaza City say they have experienced one of the most intense Israeli bombardments since Israel launched its war on Hamas. Columns of Israeli tanks are reported to be closing in on the center of the city from several different directions. The Gaza Civil Emergency Service says it believes a number of people have been killed. The Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital is reported to have been evacuated, with its patients being taken to one of the only medical facilities still functioning in the area, the already overcrowded Indonesian hospital. Jury selection has begun in the case of the actor Alec Baldwin, who is due to go on trial in New Mexico for a fatal shooting on the set of the Western film Rust in October 2021. Mr. Baldwin faces involuntary manslaughter charges, which he denies. The trial will determine whether he should be held criminally liable in the death of the cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The 42-year-old was killed after a gun Mr. Baldwin was using in a scene rehearsal went off. A bullet from the gun fatally struck the cinematographer and wounded director Joel Souza. Opening statements are expected on Wednesday. China's biggest electric car maker, BYD, has agreed a $1 billion deal to set up a manufacturing plant in Turkey as it continues to expand outside its home country. The new plant will be able to produce up to 150,000 vehicles a year, according to a Turkish news agency. The facility is expected to create around 5,000 jobs and start production by the end of 2026. The deal was signed at an event in Istanbul attended by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and BYD's chief executive, Wang Chuangfu. The UK government says England's regional mayors have met Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner and Prime Minister Keir Starmer to discuss a major programme of devolution. Ms Rayner, who is also Community Secretary, said for too long Westminster had tightly gripped control and held back opportunities for towns, cities and villages across the UK. She said the Downing Street meeting was aimed at shifting power out of Westminster towards the regions. Labour has made growing the economy one of its 5 missions for government. Third Avenue Bridge, which connects New York's the Bronx to Manhattan, has got stuck in an open position due to the high heat. FDNY officers arrived in boats and fired water at the structure to try and cool down the metal, which expanded after high temperatures in the city. The incident caused major traffic delays during one of the hottest days of the year in New York, but reopened on the same day. And thousands of people have been demonstrating against mass tourism in Barcelona. Footage filmed in the Spanish city over the weekend shows diners in popular tourist areas being squirted with water pistols and crowds of protesters chanting "Tourist, go home." Barcelona is Spain's most visited city. Some 12 million people go there every year. The protesters say that this has led to a lack of housing and soaring rents for residents. The mayor recently pledged to eliminate short-term tourist lets in the city within 5 years. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.